Hello, I'm Morkan Abuzar Shairan. I'm Morkan Abuzar, the Supreme of Climate, and I'm Morkan Abuzar, the Supreme of Geophysics. Let me quickly share this on my Twitter. My live speech on American politics, and balance of power. All right. All right. Now I'm just making them on my blogs, on my websites. I don't have any help. I have to do everything alone because they have isolated me and I cannot form any interaction with others, so I cannot get help when I do things. Now, I'm Morkan Abuzar Shairan. I'm Morkan Abuzar, the Supreme of Climate. I'm Morkan Abuzar, the Supreme of Geophysics. And I'm Morkan Abuzar, the Messenger of God. Now, the political systems in the United States of America are designed in a manner to create inefficiency and political disagreements or partisan movements. So, this creates a world security system. It provides security for the whole world by creating disagreements, political problems, and political arguments and political oppositions. So they talk in Senate, they talk in Congress, they have political psychologies, and they do their things. And it slows down some processes. For example, um, a stimulus for combating coronavirus took some time. I had a code to force all of them to sign together, as I forced them to sign the previous stimulus package, but they refused to do this one. Um, so it was possible for me to just tell them to do it by one tweet or by a code. And so, but I didn't do it for the second time. But why did it take so much time to talk to each other? Because first, there's lots of disagreements, different positions, different interest groups, different value systems that each must protect and uphold. For example, we had classic European political parties which protected a specific value systems. Those value systems were destroyed after rise of populist and far rights, and they were creating a mechanism of interaction between political systems which maintained the status quo and prevented dangerous shifts in political structure. In America, we have a similar system which prevents dangerous shifts in political structures and political activities. Because if we allow government of United States of America and United States of America to work at max efficiency and max capacity, they will kill the whole world in 2 days. It takes them one day to kill everybody on the surface. It takes them one day to kill everybody on the ground in tunnels. So in order to prevent that, we created inefficient political systems, political disagreements, political parties, and political partisanships, and the way they do their business. Now, I don't have time to watch them. I don't have time to pay attention to each like Democrat, each Republican, every politician, and their interactions. It's like really, really too much for me. I don't have time for that. So um, I usually fix this scenario by one page of writing if it comes down to it, and if it becomes necessary, or sometimes by one tweet or one code. So, but again, why there are political disagreements and political inefficiency? Because political machinery, political, diplomatic, military, intelligence, and social machinery of United States of America is one of the most dangerous forces ever created in the world, and they are so dangerous that they can kill whole the world in a very fast speed. For example, they killed Syria very fast, and they created global psychology and political plannings for the whole world to kill people of Syria very fast. They also did similar things in the case of Libya. They did also similar things when they were sanctioning Iran. They worked in cooperation. Now there was some opposition, but not all of the political party or a political position prevented the sanctions on Iran, and not all of them combated the creation of civil war in Syria and Libya. So they worked efficiently and they destroyed great things. Now China and Russia are very strong, and they have also worked in a very, concerted and orchestrated manner against Russia and China. And as you can see, Russia cannot, protect itself much when they come all together to pressure Russia. China is also pressured and cannot make much movements because they don't have many of geopolitical privileges to do the moves they must take, they must do. So it comes down to me sometimes to tell China to place tariffs and sanctions on the United States of America because I have the privilege for some of them, and China doesn't have for some those such privileges for some of them. So that's why China and Russia don't make certain actions against the United States of America. So how do we prevent a dangerous political machinery of United States of America? We prevent it by creating political disagreements, inefficiency, and partisanships. So they talk to each other, they try to confront each other. So when it comes down to something dangerous on global scale, they prevent each other and they confront each other. There's also such cases for internal issues in America. So they prevent each other from doing something dangerous by partisanship and confronting each other. But somebody like Trump started withdrawing from JCPOA and ended multilateralism and created unilateralism. So he placed tariffs on China and placed tariffs on the whole world. He sanctioned Iran, and then it came down to the rest of the world to come and oppose the United States of America. So China, Russia, and Europe opposed the United States of America. I also helped China, Russia, and Europe a great deal. So I forced them to support Iran. Okay. Now, so how do we prevent such systems when America comes and acts in a unified manner in an efficient system? We prevent it by making sure Iran, Russia, China, European Union, and two Red Sea nations, such as Saudi Arabia and Sudan, or Egypt and Yemen, are all together in confronting United States of America. This is the only thing that can stop United States of America when United States of America becomes very dangerous, trying to do dangerous things. So, for example, America starts to decides to invade Somalia. Then European Union, Russia, and China can invade United States of America to stop it. Or United States of America decides to sanction Iran, and then Iran, European Union, China, and Red Sea nations block the access of American ships to Suez Canal, so American ships cannot go through Suez Canal. They stop trading in dollars, so dollar becomes weak. They sanction United States of America, and they place tariffs on United States of America, so they destroy industries in United States of America. And they also help Iran with payment mechanisms, trade mechanisms. They transfer technology to Iran, they trade with Iran, and they transfer technology to Iran, and they cooperate with Iran to ensure Iran is not harmed by the sanctions. But again, their capabilities are also limited, and they don't work in cooperation when America acts in a unilateral manner because they have a dictator like Trump, or when they are efficient political intelligence and military machinery. So it comes down to other forces. Again, the rest of the nations I just told you. If they don't work, it comes down to me. So I crashed USA stock market many times to prevent Trump is weekend, and I'm still crashing USA stock market almost every day. I also made several earthquakes, or more than several earthquakes, in the United States of America to punish Trump for sanctioning Iran, because Trump sanctioned Iran, and one day before he was about to sign withdraw from JCPOA or nuclear agreement, I destroyed Hawaii by earthquake and another state in America by earthquake to warn them to not withdraw from nuclear agreement. But he did. So I made lots of earthquake in North America to punish him. But again, maybe he never received my messages, or maybe he didn't care, or maybe it was another political system taking over White House. who was continuously sanctioning Iran and was not obedient. So we destroyed lots of metropolitans in North America by earthquakes. We created Hurricane Florence and Michael. We made 20 more hurricanes later in the United States of America in 2020 and 2019 to make sure America lifts all the sanctions on Iran. America allows Iran to build 10,000 nuclear warheads, and Iran becomes industrial superpower of the world. Also, the United States of America must withdraw from Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and greater Middle East. Now, so one of the another methods that we can use to prevent dangerous habits by USA federal governments are earthquakes and volcanoes. So if America becomes very dangerous, we just make earthquakes in America. I make earthquakes in American metropolitans, and I destroy the skyscrapers, and I destroy their estates, and I reduce them to rubble. So this is how I subdue USA federal government and the continent of North America. I can subdue the earth, and I can indeed subdue United States and US military industry complex. I can indeed subdue USA political machineries and White House. I can indeed subdue USA intelligence machinery. But again, earthquakes sometimes are not enough because there are lots of towns and lots of metropolitans. There are 10,000 metropolitans in North America, so how many earthquakes? But then it remains climate, and I control the climate of the world. Climate is always enough to subdue any force. Anybody must obey when there is climate on the table. For example, we can transform all of North America so it cannot sustain life ever again by transforming the gas mechanics, quantum of gases, and the way the gases interact with each other in the atmosphere near the surface of the Earth and the layers of atmosphere. So it becomes a system that life cannot continue in that gas mechanics and that physics. So the way the macromolecules, protons, and molecules, and the inter and extracellular matters move in the body is greatly dependent on the mechanics of gases and how the atmosphere is and everything else about the physics and atmosphere and climate and biology. So we can do this and end life on North America for 1,000 years. We can also transform North America to deserts and Sahara. So North America is always deserts. So we can recreate Great Mojave Desert in North America to cover all of North America. We can transform North America into Ice Age. So we can also make sure America is always in Ice Age. We can also send endless hurricanes. It takes 5 seconds for me, 5 seconds to 10 minutes, to make 10 hurricanes, 20 hurricanes in 1 year. Okay, and the hurricanes keep coming. I entered the code once, and the hurricanes are coming for like 20 years, 7 years, 100 years, and it becomes extra hurricanes in that year. Okay, it takes 5 seconds for me. Now, our understanding of climate and weather conditions is that we influence every atom of gas, every molecule of gas in the atmosphere by energy weapons and radiations and waves, and we influence their mechanics, their quantum vibrations, and their other vibrations and their properties individually, each one individually and in relation with each other. And we control all the gas molecules of gas and atoms of gas in the atmosphere and in magnetosphere from uh, uh, um, sea level all the way to magnetosphere individually by influencing each gas individually. When we work with it, when we think about it, and when we operate the system. But when I want to do a hurricane, it takes me 5 seconds to enter a code, and it makes hurricane season and 20 hurricanes in 1 year. So it is the cases like this. We can also make wildfires in North America, floods, storms, endless storms. We can also split North America into 4 continents by mega earthquakes. So geophysics is almost enough to subdue any nation because I can also cause polar shift of the planet Earth, but it's dangerous to other nations. But climate is always enough to subdue USA government. The other method we have to subdue USA government is not my method, it's my friend's method. And their method is to make sure America always has national debt. So when America becomes very rough or very tough and doesn't obey, USA national debt is on the table to subdue USA government and force them to obey. And there is also cooperation of international community, including Iran, Russia, China, European Union, and 2 nations on the Red Sea to subdue United States of America. And there is also other mechanisms to subdue USA. But again, USA sometimes does not obey. So it comes down to political disagreements, partisanships, and political inefficiency in America to ensure world is secure and world is protected, and there is balance of power. This is why we have balance of power to ensure Americans and the whole world are protected. Because the balance of power also protects Americans and America itself. Because there are dangerous policies and dangerous activities by political systems of the United States of America which can harm all of the American peoples. For example, Trump created a fascist, xenophobic, and anti-minority, anti-migrant movement in America, which became global, and it became populist and neo-Nazis in Europe, and it harmed the whole world. But again, Trump was not like that bad, but the system of his power, the way he exercised it, and the way the system presented it, and the way his workers and the people who worked for him operated the system, led to creation of neo-Nazis and far right and Islamophobic movements, and Islamophobes were already around. So, um, how was he prevented? Congress pressured him a lot. Democrats pressured him a lot. Republicans pressured him a lot. Media pressured him, and lots of other nations such as Iran, Russia, China, and European Union, Germany, Britain, France, all pressured Trump and USA to make sure America does not become too dangerous. So if you thought America is only making trade wars and places tariffs on Europe, Iran, Russia, China, and the rest of the world, but does not engage America in full-blown military conflicts, it was because of the opposition of the whole world. The reason Trump did not nuclear bombs all of the world, it was because all of the world was ready to oppose him. Okay, so this is why we need political disagreements, partisanships, and balance of power at all levels of USA government, USA federal and USA state government, to create a system of balance of power to protect the states, the nation, and the whole world. And we need to also have global balance of power capable of opposing the United States of America and unifying to oppose the United States of America for whenever it is necessary. And there is also, national debt of the United States of America, my capability to crash USA stock market and change the value of assets in North America. And there is also my earthquakes, volcanoes, and climate and weather warfare. Now again, climate and weather warfare are always enough to subdue any force. It's enough to subdue the Earth. But geophysics are also enough to subdue the whole Earth. But when it becomes a big continent like United States of America, geophysics sometimes is not good enough. It's kind of applications become kind of not matching the scenarios, too much force. Now, I'm Makana Waziri Shansha Iran, I'm Makana Waziri the Supreme of Climate, I'm Makana Waziri the Supreme of Geophysics, and I'm Makana Waziri the Messenger of God. Thank you for watching.